Okay, this is video number 2, hive number 1, and hopefully you watched video number 1 first, and I don't have to reintroduce myself because again, this is not for posterity. This is mainly for me and any mentors that I have. But you're more than welcome to watch the video going in for an inspection on my bigger hive. Okay, these guys definitely drank all their sugar water this time in this hive, and something I got to figure out for next year when I do maintenance over the winter is the hive feeder on this hive, the top feeder on this hive, or on both my hives. In the middle of the feeding season, it keeps killing bees, and I'm not offended by the idea of killing bees. I just don't want to. I don't want to make more work than necessary, and if I get a few dead bees every week, and it's kind of every couple weeks or whatever, it's kind of frustrating. I just don't know how to prevent it. I think there's probably a video online about what to do to your feeder. This year I just bought it and set it up. So having dead bees every couple of weeks actually makes me wish I had chickens and then I could feed the chickens the bees at least. Okay, these guys look like they might have actually started storing honey on their extra beef. This was super. Yeah, this is the hive that's been stronger all season long, and they had started filling out this super before I nadired another super in 2 weeks ago. They have two 60% full frames of honey so far. This is comb and partially probably like 30% honey on one side, on the other side. This is an empty frame. Well, actually, I lied. This is a comb frame, but no, like maybe 30%, 25% comb. No comb on the other side. This is building out comb. I don't know why I started in the middle. Oh, I started in the middle because I could see honey and I wanted to check to make sure it was honey. This one also is about 50% honey on one side, comb on the other, and they're starting to store honey there. So these guys may they have more resources than the other hive, but they're also more bees. So this is just comb. I can feel by the weight of it. It's also not completely full. This one is just the frame, no comb. And this last one I'm sure is the same. Since it's an outer frame, I don't expect them to be building on it. This late in the season, I'm not going to do a whole lot of furniture rearranging for them, so. had the clean excluder after this main super. So I really didn't want the clean to get too high. They of course have put propolis on everything, so this clean excluder is nicely glued in place for me. So probably ought to smoke before I do this, but oh, actually that may have been where I put the pollen patty the last time. Probably not the best idea. I tried to put the first time I did pollen patties, I tried to put them as low as possible. And for some reason, maybe I forgot it last time, and forgot to put it on until the last minute. That's obviously where I put the pollen patty, and I can see the line where I put it. I don't want to do that this time. I'm going to put it on the bottom deep when I go to fix that. Okay, so now I'm inspecting the super that I nadired. I'm just going to look down from the top of the hive rather than the top of the hive rather than get in each frame, because if they are doing anything in there, I want to leave them alone. And they are, but they're not really building out any frame. And they're not drawing any comb. They're not building these frames really. I mean, there's a little bit of drawn comb, but it's not anything. It's basically, I'm going to want to freeze these combs to make sure there's no pests on them, but there's no honey, there's no reason to keep it for them in the hive over winter. So when I go to shrink the hive, this is the this is the hive body that I'll shrink. Okay. This is why I brought the wagon. There's a lot of bees. There's a lot of things going on in this hive. I don't really want to keep putting stuff on the ground. So somebody suggested a wagon, and my wagon is big enough that it can take 2 hive bodies front to back if I put them crossways on the length of the wagon. Huh, weird. Okay, well, this looks like where I put pollen, but I can definitely see the evidence of the pollen on this one because they didn't even eat it all in this last one. Okay, so not shy with the smoke here. Okay. So as I go into this, I'm not going to start in the middle like I did the last one. I'm just going to start and I go front to back. But I loosen everything up before I get in there. These guys have done something on pretty much every frame. I'm looking as I see it. This is my second deep that I added pretty much as soon as I got these bees. Maybe like a week. Oh no, I added it 5 weeks in. So these guys have had this frame. I mean, these guys have had this hive body all summer long. They can build brood. They've been able to build brood on it. They've been able to stock up their honey stores. I did some furniture rearranging, otherwise known as checkerboarding, earlier this year. I think like 2 checks ago. This has a queen cell on it, so I don't really like queen cells. So usually sure somebody else has a different method, but I just scrape it off. I'm not a queen rearer. I don't know that I'll ever be one. This is full of honey. Yeah, honey is all over this frame. Mainly around the outside, and there's a little bit of drone brood, it looks like, in the middle. And then this is all, this is about 50% honey and then capped brood. I can see uncapped honey. I can see, looks like larvae in there. This is also really heavy with honey. No obvious signs of larvae. This is mostly comb and uncapped honey. But it's not full on the round. These were the checkerboarded frames. So there's less evidence that they were building and making babies in this frame. I put them to the middle so that they'd be more likely to be used by the queen if she was going to do anything. And frankly, the bees are more likely to, allegedly the bees are more likely to build on it. They have built out these frames, but they're also working on other frames. Okay, I'm on 6 of 8. Very little evidence of drawn comb, and nothing else. Drawn comb on one side, honey on the other, about 50%. And then this one is one of the ones, again, they were checkerboarded. This was moved to the outside intentionally earlier in the season, and now this is already stuck to itself. So, yeah, this one's really full of honey and drawn comb. And this one is dark comb and honey, and no larva, no capped brood or larva or anything. So, okay, so as I go for the last hive body, I'm going to stack this on top of the deep that I already have in my wagon, just so I know how to put this thing back together again. It's like a puzzle. And holy cow, there's a lot of bees down here. A joke I'll probably always tell as long as I have bees in the yard is there's nothing I like more than getting into a harem of 80,000 women who are willing to kill me to make sure I don't mess with their boss or their food supply. I'm sorry, not kill me, but although they will kill themselves to make sure I don't mess with their boss or their food supply. They won't kill me, one of them at least, not one, because I'm not, at least at this point, I'm not allergic to bees to the point of anaphylaxis, but they're very dedicated to their job, and so I want to respect that to the greatest degree possible. And if anybody else tells that joke and you've copyrighted it, sorry, I just like it, and I'll probably always say it's my favorite joke about bees. Anyway, smoking these last girls before I go inspect them. This was one of the original hive bodies that I got with the nuke, one of the two nukes that I got earlier this year, so this should have plenty of resources on it. Holy cow, movie special effects. I got a smoking going on here. I'm not allergic the bees, but good grief. Smoke in my eye is not a great way to check a hive. Okay, last time I'm just loosening up these frames before I go in and try and move them one at a time. I don't know what anybody else does. This is what I do because this is what has worked for me. And so far, the main things that can kill the bees, other than me, are pests, and I haven't really seen any obvious signs of those pests. So I figure don't fix what ain't broken. Drawn comb, lots of bees, drawn comb, looks like pollen and lots of honey. Well, no, looks like a lot of pollen and a little honey. Maybe about 10% or 20% on one side, none on the other. Okay, we're getting a little skittish now. So I'm getting a little skittish now. No, not really. Just I know I've been in here a long time. I can't see. I don't keep a watch. I mean, I wear a watch, but obviously I'm in a suit. I can't see what's going on with the time. And the more I talk, the longer it takes. So hopefully they can be patient with me just a little bit longer. There we go. Smoky, smoky, smoky. Don't worry, girls. We're just burning up your house. Nothing to see here. Okay. Larva, calf brood, I mean. Larva and 10% honey or so. Drawn comb, dark comb, honey, and no brood. Larva, honey, mostly larva, maybe 20% honey. I'm getting smoked out here. Holy cow. There's a big old bee knot there. Okay. I'm trying to get in and out of here before I die of smoke inhalation. Okay, larva, 10% cap honey. Oh my gosh, lot of larva. 10% cap honey. Oh, well, that was not the end of the world. Okay, larva, no honey, larva. Holy cow, I got snot running down my nose in a bee suit. Okay, smoke, 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 smoke. Three more. Just give me a couple more minutes, girls. Three more. If anybody's wondering, don't wash your bee suit, even if it gets snot in it. I heard a story one time about a guy who did that, got stung, didn't know that it had been washed, but he got stung. All right, here's one that's heavy with honey. 25% honey on this frame, 10% on one side, 20% on the other, that's about 25%. Okay, this one is even more honey. 50% on one side, 30% on one side, all frame, drawn comb on that side, nothing else. Okay, the last frame, and I'm getting frankly a little antsy actually. Mainly because I'm tired of breathing in smoke every time I get close to the lawn comb, and nothing. So, okay, I'm gonna reverse the order of this house. And I think I'm gonna put the I didn't forget this time, I'm going to put the pollen down here on the bottom. Smoke it one more time. Oh my gosh. They're nuts. These girls are nuts. Okay. Alright ladies, let's put this back on here. Okay. Now, smoke this one. They are very, very talkative in there today. Okay. Let's find my clean excluder. Oh, hey, that's what happened. I heard that and I didn't know that. I wasn't in trouble, and that was probably not the nicest thing to have happen. And now it'll be all on video all over the internet. At least it didn't have honey. Okay. Okay, now I'm feeding these I'm putting the last bit of food in this tub. Drained this thing. Okay, not because I want to market a particular product, but I want to save some people an effort that I had to make, or a lesson that I had to learn. I'd like to point something out on these hives. How about hives that had windows on the sides? And man, when I bought them, I thought that is a great idea. And generally, I'd say can find a hive that has a window, it is a great idea because you can see, maybe without disturbing the bees quite as much. The only thing I'll say is make sure that window is not parallel to a single frame. Make sure it's out here, going this way, rather than here, parallel to the frames. Because then you'd be able to see all the way down multiple frames, and here I can only see one frame. I can see 1, 2, 3 frames on this hive and 2 on that hive. Not the end of the world, but just something to consider. Might be a little bit of extra money you can save yourself if you don't do that option. But I've liked the hives other than that. They were very easy to assemble, and I really like that because I work full-time, and I wanted to do this and not have to become a full-time beekeeper with just 2 hives. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your weekend. It's Sunday afternoon, so it's going to be a short rest of your weekend.